The birth of a language in Nicaragua. In 1977, a school for deaf children opened in Managua, Nicaragua. Many children arrived without a shared language. They only had homemade signs used inside their own families. One child had a sign for food, another had a sign for sleep, another had a sign for fear. At home, these signs worked because the family understood the context, but at school, every child had a different private system. At first, communication was messy. They wanted to play, ask, refuse, explain, and tell stories, but there was no shared code. Then something changed. The children started copying the signs that worked. Clear gestures survived. Confusing gestures disappeared. Long gestures became shorter. Slowly, their private signs turned into a shared language. How language is born. Language begins when a group needs to understand itself. Useful signals appear. The signals that work get repeated. Repetition becomes habit. Then children turn those habits into structure. In Nicaragua, the first signs were simple. They helped with basic needs, but they were not enough for full stories. Younger children changed that. They organized the signs. They made movements clearer. They gave the system rules. The space in front of the body began to carry meaning. The direction of a sign could show who did something and who received the action. This is the difference between communication and language. Communication can say, "I want this." Language can explain who did what, when it happened, and how events connect. Why the world did not keep one language. Languages change every time people pass them on. Each generation speaks a little differently from the one before it. A sound becomes easier. A word changes meaning. A phrase disappears. A new expression spreads. These changes are small, but over time they build up. When people stay connected, their speech stays close, but when groups separate, their speech drifts apart. One group crosses a mountain. Another moves near the sea. One trades with outsiders. Another stays isolated. At first, the difference sounds like an accent. Later, it becomes a dialect. After centuries, it can become a separate language. Geography does not create language by itself. It decides who keeps hearing whom. Language as identity, power, and memory. Language is not only about meaning, it also shows belonging. An accent can reveal where someone is from. A local word can carry the memory of a community. A way of speaking can point to a city, class, family, tribe, or generation. Then power shapes language even more. Governments choose one dialect for schools and offices. Writing preserves one form of speech. Media spreads one pronunciation. Markets make some languages more useful than others. That is why some languages grow, some weaken, and some disappear. In Nicaragua, children built a language quickly because they needed to be understood. Across history, humans did the same thing more slowly. Groups spoke, separated, mixed, migrated, and passed language to children who changed it again. That is why the world has thousands of languages. Humans lived different lives, so they created different ways to speak.